Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. I'm Egberto with your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for everybody today, as usual. Welcome aboard. Brother Lee Grant is in the house. And guess who else is in the house? E2247. And of course, the one and only Bridge MCP, who we had a good conversation yesterday. AVQ is in the house as well. I imagine AVQ still doesn't have his glasses. He's probably squinting at the screen or putting the screen about 10 feet in front of him so that he can read. That's our brother researcher and everything extraordinary, el señor AVQ, also known as, what again? Brother Michael Rudnin. Okay, continuing. Paul Fleming Sr. is in the house. Welcome aboard, Paul. Welcome aboard, Paul. Welcome aboard, Paul. And we also have Peggy Lopez, mi hermana con los pelos rosados. That's the woman with that beautiful, I don't know colors well. Is it maroon? Is it pink? Is it mauve? Is it, I don't know. But I guess at these things. And of course, we have, who else is in the house? Para ver. I got Paul already. And come on, folks, if you're just coming in, bring it on. Hey, Michael says my face is literally 10 inches from the screen. I hear you, brother. 10 inches from the screen. Let's see. Hey, we got to put this one on the screen that Rudnin, look, you are not old enough. I mean, you speak to some of the other folks in the room, okay? You are not old enough, my dear brother, to put a picture like this on the screen. Look at what he's mimicking as himself. He's right up against the screen. I'm an old man. I am trying to see what Bridge is saying. I'm trying to see what Lopez is saying. I'm trying to see what Grant is saying. It's okay. Thank you, bro. We appreciate that. Anyhow, going back to business, we're going to have a great show for you today. Hey, in a few minutes, and I don't know if it happened already, I imagine that we're going to get the IRA, what is it again? The Inflation Reduction Act should be law today. This is a live show, Wood. It's a live show. Yes, it is. Egberto, that's a meme. Grandma finds the internet. But you ain't no grandma, brother Michael. I know, I'm teasing you, man. I'm teasing you. Anyhow, we're going to have a great show for you today. Listen. Let me start reading what you guys have to say. Come on, start throwing stuff into the feed, and I'll read it as I go down. I only have one video to play for you today. And don't let me have to go search for more, but you know I never run out of stuff to say. Christine Park is in the house. And, of course, Alistair Waters says, it's a hot day in Conroe. Girlfriend, I know what you mean. Peggy says, it's pick, petals, balloons. My petals are pink. Yes, beautiful pink. And Paul Fleming says, newsflash, polio has been detected in New York. Oh my God, that's bad. That's worse than anyone can believe. I've had a polio shot because I'm old enough to have had one. I don't know if my daughter has had a polio shot. Oh wow, that is more dangerous than anyone can believe. Oh wow! If they are finding polio in wastewater, that's dangerous. Anybody knows how is polio actually transmitted? I don't know. How does it actually get transmitted? Is it mucus like a cold or what? Somebody let me know. Anyhow, let's start reading. Bridge MCP says, Egberto, you have to use your influence to let the coffee party understand what the IRA did and how propaganda made the world label them as terrorists. Very upset the coffee party would agree with this article, and the answer is no. The article is wrong. Is the Republican Party becoming the Seinfeld of America? No. Okay, Bridge, keep that under your, up. What I want to do is I want to have a short interview with you because I know who Seinfeld, I know the Seinfeld movement, or rather party. I also know Gary, what is his name? The guy who led it, who became one of your parliamentarians, one of your members of parliament, I think is what it's called. I remember the IRA and the fights and what they call terrorism or whatever, but I want to be schooled by somebody who lived it, an Irish woman that's going to tell me where they got it wrong. I didn't read the article. But what I will do is I'll interview you, if you would let me, and I'll put that as a rebuttal to the article. Let me just explain. The coffee party, many of us have rights to post our articles on that site, and we don't censure people if people get things wrong. The idea is to point it out so that we can have a discussion. And by the way, I fought for that for a long time. People used to like to arbitrarily take down my articles or other people's articles that they didn't agree with. And what I said is the best thing to have is a debate on things. And that's why everybody here is on equal keel. That's why I read stuff that I don't even agree with what many people put here. But it's the idea is that we're a big tent. So I would love to speak to you on camera if you would allow me to, Bridge MCP, on that issue. And then we'll just post it at the coffee party. But what I'll ask you to do is go ahead and highlight the article, and then you're going to tell us in what's wrong with what they're saying point for point. And I think that would make a great rebuttal to that article. All right, continuing. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. We have Paul Fleming says, one thing Trump knows is real estate. I wonder how he feels about Merrick Garland living rent-free in his head. That's a good one, Paul. That's a good one you came up with, brother. AVQ says the last one from NBC News go through. Yes, I think I saw something from NBC News. Let's see. I think I saw something from NBC. Para ver. ¿Dónde está NBC? But yeah, anyhow, so folks, let's see. NBC from E22. Actually, what I saw from NBC came from E2247. And it's the documents of former guy's home were obtained. What was obtained on NBC? ABQ has an NBC Politics Trump Mar-a-Lago warrant property receipt show agents found trove. Is that an article or is that a picture? Let me see what it is. It's an article. Okay, guys. Yeah, the NBC link came through. All right, continuing. Mar-a-Lago search warrant and property receipt documents. Mar-a-Lago search warrant and property receipt documents went through. Okay, what else we got here? Paul Fleming, you mean to say you think there is room for anyone besides Trump under the orange wig? Peggy Lopez asked. Michael Rudnin, I do, with glasses, Control Plus, all the time. I hear you. Maywood said, is this a live show? Yes, it's a live show. Michael said, Berto, that's meme. Grandma finds internet. Christine Park said, I have to use a magnifying glass to see a lot of what's on my computer. Ouch. I'm not there yet, but sometimes I wonder if I'm getting there, especially since I have cataracts that make things blurry. Maywood says, thanks, Sister Brige. Becky Lopez says, pink petals is my hair. All right, I'm continuing down, scrolling from what you guys are talking about. Michael puts, polio has been detected in New York. Wastewater officials say the detection of the virus in the sewage suggests it is circulating in the city. Okay, what I'd like to know about polio is if everybody who gets it well, we'll find out. I see something down there. This is one long commercial on YouTube, Egberto. What is one long commercial on YouTube, sir? This is live. This is live. Okay. Jerry Adams. That's right. Jerry Adams. I can never remember his name from Sinn Féin. Norman Reynolds says, polio transmitted through contaminated food and water. Thank you, sir. Michael Rodden says, Cleveland Clinic, how does polio spread? Polio spreads through coughing and sneezing or through coming in contact with poop, feces of the infected person, fecal oral route. It can spread by not washing your hands after going to bathroom or touching poop, like changing diapers, drinking contaminated water, or getting in your mouth. Eating foods that have touched contaminated water, swimming in contaminated water, or becoming contaminated when someone who has diarrhea swims in it. Coughing or sneezing, being in close contact. Folks, with all these things running around, it seems to me like we are going to have to start with our hygiene and also make sure we get vaccinated. I think I'm going to find out about polio and my, I don't know if my daughter had a polio shot or not, but we got to find out because with her being under duress on her left side, we sure don't need something else to hold her down. She fights it as it is right now, walking, etc. So we got to make sure. All right, Peggy Lopez says the polio virus enters the body through the mouth, usually from the hands, contaminated respiratory and oral to oral transmission through saliva may also occur. Thank you. I'm glad for all this info I'm getting. Norman says, but polio can also be transmitted by droplets. Thanks, Michael. Let's see what else we got here. My text tends to set up 110% mostly for how it makes YouTube videos take more size on the screen. All right, Bridge MCP says, Jerry Adams was engaged to my aunt. Wow. And a good friend of my dad. Good. So we can definitely talk about that as well, Bridge. So are you going to give, is that saying that you're going to give me the interview, Bridge? I hope so. Let's see what else. Lee Grant says, move over monkeypox. Here comes polio. But you know what, Lee? I remember I had to take the polio. You know how I took the polio thing? You remember they used to give you the sugar cube, and they used to put that pink or orange, or I think it's a red syrup on that sugar, and they gave it to you to eat. And that's how we got inoculated from polio, if I remember correctly, in the old days. Anybody remember that? Does anybody remember that? All right, Michael Rodden says, Egberto, from the World Health Organization, 1 in 200 infections leads to irreversible paralysis. Among those paralyzed, 5 to 10% die when their breathing muscles becomes immobilized. Yikes. Yikes is the answer. Yikes. What I'm going to do is Michael has got us a cheat sheet, and I'm going to put that cheat sheet on for a little bit so that we can actually take a look at it. Anybody who wants to see the cheat sheet, I'm going to go down a little bit so that you can get a little bit more of the symptoms and risk. Let's see what else we got here. Bridge says, what is that you're giving me, Bridge? Polio, what it is and how it spreads. Okay, that one is going to come up after I think Michael gets a good view on the one that he presented. What is this one here? Who presented that one? That's Michael. Okay, there we go. So I have that on the screen. Let me keep Michael's on the screen a bit longer so people can see it. We want to be informative. Okay, M right now, LOL. Okay, I don't know what that means, Bridge. I think that means that, yes, we're going to do an interview, right? Maywood says, yes, I grew up in the 50s and remember how all the parents were so scared of polio. Peggy Lopez says, mine was through the pink sugar cube. Now I need to see if I am still protected. Haven't needed to think about this about 70 years. I know. I haven't thought about it since the elementary school. That would have been in the 70s, right? So who knows? Who knows? Who knows? All right. Para ver. Oh, you got a long one, Eric. Big oil. Brother Eric is in the house, folks. Let's see. Daniel says polio was eradicated in the U.S. and then we allowed unfettered illegal immigrants. You know, when I read your first part that says once we had polio eradicated in the U.S., I was about to say, wow, Daniel Ledo is coming here with a non-judgmental modal, right? And then he had to do it and say, and then we allowed unfettered illegal immigration. All right. Let me go ahead and put the other polio stuff, the one from Bridge MCP on now. But does somebody else want to school Ledo, or should I do it? I'll tell you what, I'll start it. Because I have the structure, the framework under which I can frame it first, and then somebody can get more technical with Brother Ledo. Brother Ledo, let me school you on something. The people that have done most damage as far as killing entire populations with diseases are when Europeans, meaning Christopher Columbus and the Spanish, came and left their diseases and decimated various indigenous peoples in this land. When the Pilgrims came to the United States and decimated many in the native population, not with guns, but with disease. Okay? Disease is that we now have ways to prevent those things from happening without worrying about or saying immigration is something bad. No. All we need to do is make sure that those folks that we have freely available vaccines for everybody who wants to protect themselves against any disease that may come from any parts. And do remember, we have diseases that when we travel elsewhere, we give them as well. So please, we don't need to play the blame game about these illegals coming over and giving us diseases. Ask yourself, how many diseases have we taken elsewhere? And don't forget what we did when we came to America and inflicted the originals of this country to said diseases, kill them, and wiped them out. Okay, let's just remember that. Brother Lee says white people need to be punished with polio and diseases. Oh my God. Brother Lee, I know you're trying to be inflammatory. I know you're trying to make a joke. But that's not what we're talking about. I am simply answering Brother Ledoux, who immediately jumps, once we start to see polio in America, immediately jump on our illegal immigration. Well, hell, we travel around the world as we please, and we've transmitted certain types of flu around the world. Okay, my other experts in the room, feel free to continue the discussion on who infects whom more. Please do. Because, let me tell you what's about to happen. They find polio in the water. And the Republicans are losing the case big time on economy, big time on just about everything. What you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing their sycophants, the other Trump sycophants, and their evil consultants. They're going to start showing people in wheelchairs. They're going to start showing people with polio, and then they're going to put exactly what Daniel Ledoux just said. There once was a time when polio was eradicated in the United States, and then we allowed all these illegals in. And when these illegals came in, and by the way, illegal is a bad word, but all these illegals came in, we now have polio again. Wait for the ads. Wait for the ads. These are inhumane, I wanted to say not very intellectual, but they are intellectual in that they use their intellect, however, to do bad things. So let's be prepared. So what I'm asking all our posse here is get ready to fight what Daniel Ledoux has just put on the screen. Because I love having Daniel Ledoux here as well, because he gets information from these crazy places. It gives us the ammunition. We get preceded with the words that we will need to fight when the lies, when the misinformation, the scare tactics come out in vogue. So thank you. By the way, thank you for that, Daniel Ledoux. All right, Christine Park. Once we had a vaccine, the parents let us go to the swimming pool. I remember those days. It was we always had in school, right, the vaccine day. You get all these different vaccines. I even remember the tuberculosis test, right? You'd go in and they'll do the test on your arm and wait a few days and see the reaction. All right, no, they stopped vaccination in 1970. Yes, they did. And they did because supposedly it was eradicated. Let's see, I was vaccinated before I came to the United States as well, Breach. Maywood says, then they came with the vaccines. Later came the sugar cube. Yeah, so the sugar cube came after the vaccine. I remember getting the vaccine. Now, I remember the tuberculosis thing was that 5 needles that got stuck in your arm or something like that. Paul Fleming says, ABC News has obtained a copy of Trump warranty. Stay tuned. 4th audit search on seizure. FBI cannot surveil nor even archive online from posts or individuals' chats without a warrant that was sworn under oath with an affirmation that shows probable cause of a crime. Exactly. Bridge MCP says, Egberto Willis coffee party post. Okay, this is actually when you mentioned it, Bridge, I ran over the coffee party just to see who wrote the article, and I know who wrote the article. So, but what I want to do is I want you to refute the article one step at a time. Okay, continuing, we got Paul Fleming says, I took the polio shot as a child before going to school. I did too. Eric Hayes says, is Dr. Fauci going to help out with the polio like he did with COVID? Are we sure this lion road? Wow. There's nothing that I am going to be able to say, absent someone close to you who decided to follow Fauci, gets themselves in dire straits. So I won't even try. Michael Rudden says, if when we start seeing paralyzed Americans, will the anti-vaxxers come out to the woodworks again? The polio vaccination rate in both the US and Europe are in the low 80s. Actually, I'm surprised it is that high because we don't give the polio vaccine per se anymore, if I recall. Let's see what else we got here. Maywood says, if it recall, the sugar cube was weakened, but a live virus. Oh, really? So technically they gave you the disease to prevent you from getting a stronger form. You mean they actually gave me polio? Madre mía, ¿por qué me hicieron eso? And I think I got polio in Spanish, though. Michael Rudnin says, we almost eradicated polio by vaccination. I'm sad that it wasn't completely gone, and now we might see it return. Now, let me just say this, Rudnin, because in as much as what Daniel Ledo said was, I don't want to call it rude, but was not a, what do you call that word? There's a word that you use when you don't want people from other places from coming in. I'll remember the word a little bit later. But he is right about certain things, right? And Daniel Ledo is right that unfettered immigration, a lot of immigration from people from all over the world, especially if some of the people are from all over the world or folks that haven't been vaccinated, et cetera, where polio wasn't eradicated. Yeah, that will bring disease into America. That is true. That's why when I came to America, I had to have all my vaccination records to prove that I had vaccines. If I didn't have it, I had to make sure and get the vaccine before citizenship was granted to me, before permanent residency was granted to me. I had to have all my I's dotted and T's crossed. So he's right about that. But what we have to do is not stop letting in people, but we have to be proactive to encourage folks to go vaccinate for all these different diseases that can hurt us all. But above and beyond that, we as Americans, when we go to certain countries, they tell us to get particular types of vaccines because we have infected other countries. So it's not something that we should sit down and look at it from an immigration standpoint. We should look at it from a human standpoint. Okay, Norman Reynolds says we stopped vaccinating and, exactly. Well, obviously, because we need at least 100,000 illegals per month to flood into the red states so Democrats can get them on welfare to buy their votes. So you really buy that? Let me explain a few things to you, right? That would be a terrible investment for Democrats. Let me tell you about becoming a U.S. citizen. First of all, you can only vote if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're a green card holder, you can't vote. And having a green card take you years before you can actually qualify to apply for citizenship. And Republicans have made it even more difficult by increasing the price of what it will cost you to become a citizen. It used to be cheap, very cheap. Now it's several $100s to become a U.S. citizen. So, it's not the most efficient use. It's easier to convert independents into reliable Democrats than to hope those people coming across the border are going to automatically become Democrats. Because one thing you guys have to realize is that Latinos is just a group of people that the United States government found expedient to put into one group. I am a Latino, right? There are Latinos that look like Andrew Chang. There are Latinos that look like, give me a blue-eyed blonde person. There are Latinos Latinos represent every, what you guys like to call racial group there is. And guess what? Republicans have been great in doing over the last few years, and I've been trying to tell many Democrats this. They have been using that racial separation thing to bring in Latinos by just reminding them, hey, Latina, you are white. You need to join the white party. And to the uneducated, that actually sounds like something they want to do. And, you know, what I am seeing is that they are fairly successful in many areas. So one of the things that ignorance breeds is just thinking that Latinos coming from south of the border are automatically going to be, when they naturalize and become citizens after 7 or 10 years or however long it takes, that somehow they're going to be reliable Democrats. That's wishful thinking. And actually, it's wishful thinking by Democrats, not wishful thinking by Republicans. Republicans know the answer. Hey, they know the answer. All right, let's see what else we got here. Bridge MCC, now they are gay men for polio like AIDS. Sister Jen, I won't read that because I understand Sister Jen is a bot. Lee Grant said, so we need more infection in the U.S. to even things out? No. Come on, Lee. You know better than that. Stop trying to pull my leg. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, the economy sucks. Who is in control now? The economy actually does not suck. You may want to see it, but I bet if you look at your finances, the economy doesn't suck. And you ask the question, people, you know, Republicans and others have been saying the economy bad, the economy bad, economy bad. And in the economy being bad, people will say, oh, the economy is bad. Then they say, how is your personal financial situation? I'm okay, but the economy is bad. And you ask most people, I'm okay, but the economy is bad. No, the economy is actually doing pretty damn good. Do we have inflation? We have terrible inflation, but we also have full employment. I bet you prefer full employment than low inflation and no jobs. All right, Bronx, New York. Welcome aboard. Trunel Dump. That is funny. Paul Fleming says, what the concern for me with some Republicans is truth doesn't matter, but authoritarian does. And that is what we have to fight. I have a video that I want to play where Jon Meacham kind of makes a few of those points, Paul Fleming. Daniel Edo replying to Lee Grant says, we need people to die from polio to prove we are not racist. Ye refuse to use the gray matter between those two ears. And the thing about it is, I know you're a very smart person. You know what? I don't know. I honestly don't understand this. Because I have relatives that are, you know, that are Trumpists, and relatives that are immigrants, who came here illegally. I have, again, here it is the deal. I have relatives who were immigrants who came here undocumented is the right word to use. I'm using those words. Undocumented, and found a way to get citizenship, who are now Republicans, really being hard on undocumented workers, trying to get citizenship or a green card the same way they did it. It boggles the mind. Donald Trump and the psychology that he uses is quite amazing. All right, let's see. Peggy Lopez says Trump is under investigation for violating the Espionage Act. FBI uncovered 11 sets of classified documents from Mar-a-Lago. It really is Mar-a-Lago. That doesn't really make sense even in Spanish. Huh? Trump will be hard-pressed to call this the perfect theft. All right, we also have E2247 says, a mega flood in California could drop 100 inches of rain. Scientists warn it hasn't happened since 1862, but California is due for another. Now, the thing about it, it would be nice if it doesn't happen in California, but happens closer to the desert to fill the Colorado River Basin, right? That would really fill it up. Egberto, Michael Renner said, Egberto, I'm pro-immigration. Vet all the refugees, then let them in. Included in vetting process are vaccinations. Conservatives, xenophobes, if you stop legal immigration, they'll still come here, and some of them might not be vaccinated. And that is what they don't see, Michael, right? That's what they don't see. Egberto, if you know about Ireland, then you must know Bernadette Devlin, who made it into Parliament. Here is a pic of her and my dad. I don't know of her, but oh, yeah, wow, that's your dad. That's great. That's great. Let our posse see it, this, that you have history in Ireland. Represented, member of parliament. There we go. And with Bridge MCP's dad. Also, you had in your day, I guess your dad was a handsome young man. There you go. Let me see. There you go, Bridge. Your dad was a handsome young man in the day. Oh, para ver, hasta ahí. There you go. All right, let's see what else we got. I'm coming down, and that's enough of that in case Bridge gets on my case. All right. Egberto Willies, Egberto, the word you're looking for is xenophobic. Thank you so kindly, Michael. Xenophobic and nativist. The word I was looking for was xenophobic. Man, what would I do without you guys? Norman Reynolds said, did we already discuss the fact that there is now positive proof that COVID-19 actually came from Wuhan meat market through a raccoon dog from a bat? I didn't know that, Norman. Thanks for giving the information. It would be a good thing if you get a link for that and throw it into the feed as well, please, Norman. Also, we have Maywood. Tell Eric Hayes that the same people who have always been in control, big corporations, the neoliberals, and the banks, are in control of the economy. Thank you. Bridge MCP says, Michael Rudden can't see but can type. So laughing. Sister Jan, I won't read it. Alyssa Waters says, amen. Michael Rudden also says, trying to Bridge MCP, I can't type with my eyes closed. Try. Lee Grant says, some undocumented immigrants, I'm not going to use your words, do vote in local elections in New York and California. If the law allows it, why not, right? Aren't they contributing to the society? Hey. All right. You don't like something without representation, right? Taxation without representation, and they pay taxes, right? Maywood says, I don't know about typing with my eyes closed, but I can type even when the letters are worn off of the keyboard, which means you can type with your eyes closed. All right. 45, under investigation for possible espionage act. Thank you for that. Eric says, why have the left tried to give people names that don't even match them, like Jill Biden, maybe? Huh? Don't understand what you mean by that. Yes, New York does leave. Lawmakers in New York City have approved legislation that will allow about 800,000 legal non-citizens to vote in local elections. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, Daniel Ledo says, the cognitive dissonance, or rather, the cognitive disconnect on display from Egberto is truly amazing. He admits America had polio eradicated, admits that aliens can and do bring it into America, admits that legal immigrants follow the rules and get vaccinated, and yet insists that illegal aliens undocumented aliens sneaking across the border in the millions could not possibly be the source of a polio outbreak. That right there is a radical so indoctrinated he refuses to see or think logically. You know what is funny, Daniel? I suggest you back up the tape when I told folks that you were actually right, that a lot of people coming into the country probably would be bringing polio and the like. I actually said it. Back up the tape. I actually gave you credit, Ledo. Not because you care about immigrants, but because you made a statement of possible fact. So I think if you're going to listen to the show, and I think if you're going to attack what I say, please make sure it's right. I don't mind telling you when I'm wrong. I really don't. And earlier I told folks, back up the tape, that you're partially right. Look it up. It's there for you to see. Brother Ledo. All right. Let's see. Michael Rundin says, Eric Hayes, the only ones having trouble with naming conventions are your conservatives. Most liberals are okay with calling people by whatever name or pronoun they say they prefer. Exactly right. Authorities are in control and now power hungry. Michael Rundin says, dead naming, intentionally calling people by the previous names and pronouns despite being told not to. Why do conservatives like doing that? Well, because they don't know Muhammad Ali. You know, when Butner looked at and said, I'm not calling him Muhammad Ali, I'm calling him Cassius Clay. When Cassius Clay got him in, when Muhammad Ali got him into the ring, he was, bam, that's for My name is Muhammad Ali. What is my name? Bam, Muhammad Ali. I'm not advocating violence, but I just thought at that point, given that it was a fight, it was kind of cute. Christine Park says, they're hoping to hurt people's feelings or at least make them mad. That's the idea. I mean, there's a streak of wanting to just be mean and hurt people on the right. It's amazing. I don't know. You know, it is like do all the things that actually hurt human beings. Breach MCP says, Lee, she has a PhD, hence doctorate, not MD. Exactly. She's a doctor. She is a doctor. V. Trudell says, because they hate everyone, that is not exactly like them, Michael. Christine Park says, yup. All right, let's see what else we got here. I got, para ver, Daniel Edo, yes, immigrants and tourists and businessmen can bring it into the country, not just undocumented people, animals, imports, all kinds of ways. Maywood, thank you. And we said that earlier. We actually gave him kudos. All right, Paul Fleming says, what is this that Bridge wants to put on the screen? Oh, Bernadette Devlin, thank you for the Wikipedia. Paul Fleming says, LMPD Kelly Godlet will plead guilty in federal court to falsely signing a search warrant on Breonna Taylor's apartment. Micro says, Eric Hayes, those extreme weather events are going to become more frequent due to global warming as it comes to the United States, specifically drier in the west, wetter in the east. Eric Hayes says, oh God, Fauci says to meet market story hum. Yes, he would say that. Oh boy, there we go. All right, Christine Park says like Obama. Oh boy, like Brandon, exactly, that's what they do. Michael Rodney says, rather unfortunate having local representation to all those who live there, citizens or otherwise, would have it. Yeah, Paul Fleming says a third of the Supreme Court was appointed by a man that's been investigated by the FBI for violating the Espionage Act. Let that sink in. Well, you know, we all know the guy was an evil, evil man. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. It looks like I got a note that I want to read. I'll tell you what, folks, I'm going to stop reading this for a second. I want to play the video because we're running out of time. And then I'm going to do my ask after the video. So here we go. Historian Jon Meacham did a piece today. I think that I don't know how many people really looked at it for what he actually said, but it all has to do with make America great. Make America great for whom? And who is it that has the ability to do as evil of things as they want to do as wrong, as criminal as they want to do, and still is taken serious as a human being? I want you to listen to Meacham, and then we'll take it on the other side, because what he has to say here is prescient.
But John, a growing number of Americans don't want it to work. You recently posted something about the word unprecedented, and I hate that word. I used to ban it on the show. If people use it, I'd make them pay me $2, because for 4 years, we'd gasp on TV and say, it's unprecedented. But the thing is, people want to break those norms. The former president laughed at it. He loved it. And so this idea that what's happening is unprecedented, people don't care. They actually like it.
They may like it, but the precedents we have to pay attention to is a rule of law, a love of neighbor, and a mutual respect. Otherwise, it's not going to matter, because then we're going to descend into a state of total warfare all the time. I'm not arguing for some sentimental past. I don't think there's, when people talk about restoring certain things, hell, it wasn't all that great then, right? I mean, I'm a boringly heterosexual white Southern male Episcopalian. Things work out for me in this country. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. The story of the country is a journey toward a more perfect union, not a perfect one. And so what we have to remind ourselves, and this is hugely important, and it makes what you do so important, and is in the lived experience of a lot of people, America doesn't really work. Right? It starts with September 11th. There's the bad intelligence with Iraq. There's the financial crisis. There's COVID. There's Donald Trump as this huge force. I teach students at Vanderbilt who were born after the attacks of September 11th. So imagine where your political consciousness was shaped. And where their political consciousness was shaped is Donald Trump. And so therefore, let me just say this, it puts it a huge weight, a huge burden, I think, to tell a story that the rule of law, that having a constitution that can be perfected is central. Otherwise, and maybe you disagree, but here's the question. What comes next? If you tear this up, what comes next? And if you can't answer that...
I'm reminded of Steve Bannon, who wanted to tear the system down. And in terms of a perfect union, you've got all sorts of Americans that do not want us to be a union. And I leave you with the reminder that the whole premise of Make America Great Again, well, there's millions of Americans who want to do that. For millions of others Americans, it wasn't great. It wasn't great before 2022 or 2021 for lots of us.
Now, what Jon Meacham said in this piece is prescient. You know, as you all know, those of you who watch me daily, you know, I just got back from a conference, the social, we called it the, I think it was called the Social Convergence Panel. We're all of us from all different angles, from all different strides of life come together and we talk and we discuss how we need to change the system so that everybody equitably gets a part of the pie, if you will. But it's not only that, but how we have create a true democracy. And what we had and we noticed, or I noticed, was that the people on the mostly conservative side, they all wanted to continuously use the phrase, what were the founding fathers thinking? And it always brought me back to Make America Great Again. All these sort of cues that those who were always of the preferenced class would use. And I mean, so during the conference, as I'm listening to everybody talk, and I mean, we had a group of smart people, smart conservatives, smart liberals, smart progressives, smart anarchists. We had smart people there speaking, right? But then I finally had to say, you know, because it was getting to me when, you know, we pointed out that there were about 30% of America that would not even entertain coming and talking in this group, even though we had conservatives, etc. And then I said, first of all, I do engage everybody. Even those that wouldn't have gone there, I would have gone to them, right? I will engage them. But one of the parts that I really refuse myself internally to do is to go under the assumption that everything we built has to ask the question, what were the founders thinking? Because as far as I'm concerned, the founders weren't thinking about women. The founders weren't thinking about people who didn't own land. The founders weren't thinking about the natives, the originators of this place. The founders weren't thinking about me. Hell, I was actually singled out as 3/5 of a person. I know some are going to back up and say, oh, it was a compromise. It's not that they're calling you it was yes, it was a compromise that compromised me to 3/5 of a person. So when we are asked to build a true democracy, and then we are saying, let's do it in the context of what were the founders thinking, I finally looked at them and I said, I don't give a damn what the founders were thinking. I care about humanity. I care about what all of us are thinking about to make a better union. So what I found in the honesty of Jon Meacham is realizing that we've always had a one-sided system and a very small side in this country. And as much as people could prosper, the exceptions could prosper, or you could get by, you were never to attain that bastion of power even if you had the wherewithal to work for it. And in listening to Jon again, it was great to see a thinker that didn't let himself be fooled by who he was or fooled by the myth that we want to have MAGA, Make America Great Again. Because as he said, for some, America was never great, and they're trying to make it great. And that is what's important, folks. I only have 11 minutes left, and I forgot to do my ask, and thank you guys for reminding me to do my ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a few links in there and say, first of all, please support the, first of all, I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is my Netroots. I leave on Wednesday to Pittsburgh for the program, for Netroots Nation, where we're going to meet over 3,000 bloggers and everybody else out there. So we're going to be out there. We are near half funded. I ask you to contribute to continue funding us at politicsdoneright.com/netroots, politicsdoneright.com/netroots. You can also support the program by giving us a single contribution, or like some do, a monthly contribution. Buy Politics Done Right a coffee or 2 or 3 or 4 a month. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal to do that. You can also do the same kind of thing, just a different processor, at politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Please support our books. As I see it, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, or How to Make America Great, or How to Make America Utopia, take the economy from those who rigged it, or It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, right? Those books, I promise you have some good information in there. And you know what? You help support the show when you get my books, and also share my books and ask folks to get the book as well. And of course, we have some new stuff. You know, my hat, my Politics Done Right cap is still in shipping. They just can't find the damn thing. But you can get the hats and the T-shirts and all the other stuff with Politics Done Right, like this shirt and all that stuff, at politicsdoneright.com/store. And I already placed that into the feed. Let me make sure that it all went across. And last but not least, all forms of support you can find in politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Okay, let me continue with the. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that, brother. We'll do that, brother. We'll do that, brother. We'll definitely do that. I was about to call your name, but I figure I better not call your name out right now. Let it be a surprise. Okay, let's continue with the question. Hey, guys. Bridge MCP started it with a super chat. Thank you so kindly for super chat. She says, take a day off for prepping. We can talk among ourselves. I am going to take Wednesday off. That's my travel day. I'll have the live stream going still so that you guys, you hurt my feelings. You guys were having fun with the live feed without me. I felt left out. Don't you like me anymore? You know I love you. No, guys, I was so happy. When I was at Penn Station and saw you guys still in there chatting, it was great. I couldn't get a chance to read everything, but you guys are, let me just tell you straight up, you guys are the best damn audience, bar none. All of you. Anyhow, let me get back to the questioning and the questions. All right, para ver what we got here. What have we got here? Let's see. Paul Fleming says the Supreme Court was filled up with just people from a guy who wasn't supposed to put them in there. I agree. Lee Grant says, I love the pronoun compel speech debate. Please refer to Jordan Peterson. Didn't I play Jordan Peterson for you guys once before, Paul? I mean, Lee Grant, I think I did. All right. Daniel says, I can't wait for pronoun silliness to really gain popular purchase. I am looking forward to Jot using them. Look, I just do whatever people want, you know. You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me. I don't care, you know. If you call me something that is bad, I just won't respond. That's it. Mike Cisak says Fauci was running a beagle puppy mill for experiments with borrowing files. Horrible that he was doing to over 300 puppies. Oh, my God. What are PDR's pronouns? What are PDR's? Okay, Lee Grant, I'm going to throw that one back at you. What would you like PDR pronouns to be, Mr. Grant? Please let me know. Eric Hayes says, she is not a DR of common sense, common people to food. Okay, Eric. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes, let's see. Paul Fleming says, if Liz Cheney loses on Tuesday, the Republican Party will never recover. If Liz Cheney loses on Tuesday, Liz Cheney will be running for president, and Liz Cheney, in my humble opinion, will be a formidable opponent to whoever Democrats put up. And if Democrats don't put up a true progressive that tells Americans, these are the things we're going to do, and go down the list of things that Americans say they want, which, by the way, when you ask Americans what they want, by 60% or above, they are the progressive policies we all stand for. That's not a question. That's a statement of fact, right? And so if we don't get that, welcome, President Cheney. I'm telling you, people don't actually see what Cheney. Let me tell you what the breakdown is going to be. Cheney is going to get all of the Republicans that claim, many that claim to be MAGA just for the sake of MAGA, but when they go into that booth to vote, they're going to vote for her. Those Republicans she's going to get. She's going to get a lot of super progressives, and believe it or not, they know all the ills of the Cheneys. But there are a lot of super progressives that says she did something good to save democracy, and we want to stick it to the Democrats. A lot of progressives are going to do that. I've seen them do that in Harris County. And then she's going to get straight line neoliberal Democrats. So I'm telling you, don't think Cheney hasn't written a plan for losing. Cheney has already written her plan for losing. She's a smart woman. All right, let's see what else I got to answer here before we go. Michael Rudden says, more perfect union. I always laugh when someone use that line, as it reminds me that our nation was founded on a grammatical F-up. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm going to have to study that one, Michael. All right, let's see what else we got here. V. Trudell, because of the name you called President Obama. Christine Park says, dingbat. I was responding to the commenter that said, why is the left always messing up people's name? Jeez. All right, folks. Stop fighting. All right, let's see what else we got here. My point being, more equality in our nation's future to those who are part of the majority group. Equality should not feel like oppression. And you see, that's what the system wants people to feel. They want people to feel that equality means they get less, right? Equality shouldn't mean you get less. Equality means, let's back up. We should all be looking for equity, right? Equal access to success. I have a story that I'm not going to tell you the story right now because I want to do the interview with this pastor that came to the convention, to the conference that we went to, and he told a story about helping two downtrodden people. I want to tell that story, but I won't do it today. Let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes said, better to the left cares nothing about the Constitution or laws, only when it's political convenient, and then just lip service. You really allowed people to let you believe the left is what that caricature that Fox News makes of it, but I don't have an answer. One day they are wrapping themselves in the flag. Next day, they're burning. Come on, Lee Grant. You know that's not true. Bridge MCP, thank you for that super chat. It just popped up in the other screen. All right, PDR pronouns, we and ours. I love that, Michael Rudnin. We and ours are PDR pronouns. And you know what Michael means, right? This is your show. It is just as much Michael Rudnin's show as it is yours, Lee Grant. And by the way, both of you are both great supporters. I appreciate that. Eric Hayes says, Liz should run in the Dems presidential primary. You know, unfortunately, she's too conservative to be able to win anything in a Democratic primary. And I couldn't vote for her in the Democratic primary because my intent with, even if she were to become president, was to have good, healthy debates and compromise to get the progressive message out progressive policies out. That's all. All right, you can buy some equity via shares of stocks. Oh, Lord. Okay, all right. That was the last set of questions that I see. If there's anything that I miss, throw a new question in, and we'll take it from there. Come on, somebody put a couple of last questions in there. What about you, Tim? Come on, put a last question in there. Carl Cox says, Carl says great things, if I do say so myself. All right, Carl, I read it. You wanted me to read it? I read it. And Paul Fleming says, Trump's lawyer agrees for the release of the court documents. I got that. And Mike Cisak to Breach MCP, hope they aren't close to you. They will drive you nuts. And AVQ says, last question, just to repeat this one. Okay. Egberto, if you want a few good laughs and an hour free, Robert Wool's classic HBO special, Assume the Position. Vimeo.com. Thank you for the link. I'm going to look it up just because you sent it to me, sir. Bridge MCP says, wind turbines, 20 of them arriving here in 3 days. In the mountains, lots of wind. Folks, I got to get out of here. I got to interview a politician in about 6 minutes. So I need to go ahead and quasi-prepare myself. I didn't get a chance to do any preparations for this interview. So I'll have to rely on the gods to come and give me the input to ask the appropriate questions. I didn't know I was doing this interview, Breach, so don't accuse me. Tim Danahy says, may everyone have peaceful and happy weekend. We have a lot of work ahead of us. I want everybody to know who Tim Danahy is. Tim Danahy is one of our great supporters here of Politics Done Right as well. He's been interviewed several times, and we have an interview set coming, and we are going to be doing that one live. So I told it, I told it, Tim. I told it. And here's why we are going to do this one live. Before I go, we're going to do this one live with the expectation that folks are going to be in the chat asking the questions relevant to what Tom and I are going to be talking about. So let's get busy and be good on that one. Michael Ryan said, Egberto, I sent the link to your FB Messenger. Thank you, brother. I can always depend on you. And by the way, Breach, let's see if we can arrange an interview this weekend. I want to put that out at Coffee Party no later than Sunday, if at all it's possible with you, ma'am. Because, like I said, this is people-powered news, and you're going to have all that information ready for us. Okay? Great. Folks, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.